I'm Mr. Lover Lover. She call me Mr. Bombastic, tell me fantastic. Touch me on me back, she says I'm Mr. Romantic. Call me fantastic, touch me on me back, she says I'm Mr. Smooth.
What go on, people? It is I, Sour, and I've got an RU match against the PlasmaDragon15. Really cool guy, you should go check him out. And yeah, let's look at the teams quite quickly. I don't have anything to say really, which is quite surprising, but yeah. As you can see, I'm still using my RU stall team that I made, and he's got quite a few guys weak to Stealth Rock, so getting those up quickly as possible is the reason why I lead off Fallacy as Dodrio, Dugon and the Typhlosion. As well as the Hitmonlee could be a possible rapid spinner, but I highly doubt that, but it's still a factor I need to consider. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I could handle most of this team, but the Hitmonlee is a big threat, trust me. It pretty much plows through my entire team, so I need to watch out for that. But anyway, without further ado, let's get on with the show. So to start with, we've got a Fallacy and a Torterra leads, both wanting to get our Stealth Rocks, but he just opts to switch into his Hitmonlee, as I'm just going to go for my Stealth Rocks. As I said again, 3 people weak to Stealth Rocks, it will be collateral damage will be essential, seeing as the Typhlosion may be scarfed as well. So now I'm just going to scout out this Hitmonlee a tiny bit, see if he has a high jump kick, but he goes for the Stone Edge, but because it hasn't hit anything yet, I'm not sure if it's Life Orbed or Scarfed or Banded or whatever. So I'm just going to stay in, predict him to go for the Stone Edge again, which he does, and I see his Life Orb, which is much more threatening, but you know, what can you do? As I'm just going to get 1 layer of spikes, so I'm looking pretty good now. I've got quite a few hazards up. So now here, I'm going to just go for a Protect again, seeing if he wants to do anything else, wants to switch up moves. Just scouting if he has that high jump kick again, since it's still early in the game, so that's why I love Protect. Such a great move, honestly. Like one of my favourite moves in the game. So many scouts possibilities. As it brings Typhlosion, gets mained already by the Stealth Rock and Spikes. As I see, it's not a Scarf version, it's actually more of a... not really sure, he's got Will-O-Wisp, but I'm pretty sure he's still got Timid, Max Attack. But either way, I'm going to bring in Moltres to take the incoming Fire Blasts and take that quite well actually, seeing as I resist, and I'm actually more defensive variant. I'm also thankful that he hasn't set up Stealth Rocks yet with the Torterra, which is quite nice. And again, I see that he's more of a Life Orb variant, so I know quite a few things now, so I need to keep that in mind, as I'm pretty sure he's got HP Grass or HP Ice, so that's Will-O-Wisp, and then probably the Focus Blast. Either way, I'm going to predict the switch and go straight for the substitute, so I can do some sub-roosting as he switches into his Dugon, which again gets mained by Stealth Rocks and Spikes, so really wearing his team down now. And for possible movesets for this Dugon, I'm thinking probably a Rest Talking set, since in Gen 4 I didn't play NU because not my thing. I'm not going to bash or anything. It's not my cup of tea. Haha, British joke, blah blah. Either way, I'm hoping he goes for the Ice Beam and not the Surf, if he indeed has it. So because the Roost, I lose my flying typing and I'm pure fire, so this would obviously resist, which that does happen. So again, as I said before, I'm thinking this is going to be a Rest Talking set, so I want to get off a Toxic on it, but not give him a chance to rest up later on in the game. So that's that's what's going through my head right now. Just try and get with this thing down as much as possible, but try and keep a offensive pressure on him despite my defensive team, since that's the gist of the stall team, just trying to overpower your enemy with passive damage. Seeing as this Dugon keeps going for Ice Beam, I'm guessing that's his only attacking move, and I'm going to guess his second move, his other move would be Toxic, and then the Rest Talk, as I've already stated hundreds of times by now. I'm going to switch to Fallacy so I can get a few more spikes up, as this Dugon's starting to get heavily damaged by the Toxic despite the leftovers recovery. So that's what I'm going to do right now, as he opts to switch out into his Hitmonlee once again, as I need to try and think of what this thing will do now. Will he go for the Stone Edge or for the Fighting Stab move, since I still haven't seen High Jump Kick or Close Combat. Since in RU, I love it when I see high jump kick on Hitmonlee. It's so satisfying to protect on it. Run close combat like this guy does. PlasmaDragon knows that high jump kick is too risky. As unfortunately, I predict incorrectly and I lose my Fallacy. I could have switched it to my Moltres, but that actually, in the long run, this actually helps me out, as you'll see later on. As I'm going to switch into the Bouncer, my Poliwrath. This is the Circle Throw set, which is brilliant actually. It's such a good set. As he's going to go for the close combat, I am defensive, and look how much that does. Like I said, Hitmonlee kind of plows through my team. Insane, I'm extremely Hitmonlee weak. I should really change it for Circle. I go for Circle Throw, but I should really change to a Claydol, as it does have Rapid Spin, and I could free up one more moveset on my Fallacy, as I'd give the Claydol my Stealth Rock, but I don't like Claydol because it sucks. It sets up rocks, spins and dies, that's all it does. I just don't like it, but either way, that's each their own. As he's going to switch into Torterra, get some Stealth Rocks, I was going to go for the Circle Throw. I get a useless crit, it didn't matter, as you'll see later on in the game. And besides, it didn't do anything at all, so. And as he switches into, well, as I force him into his Dodrio, and I'm thinking, okay, what does this thing do? Is it going to be Scarfed, Banded, Life Orbs? Is he some weird sub-roost set? I don't know. As I'm going to switch out into my other defensive wall, Mr. Scopes, Rayman reference. Come on, people. Come on. Get at me. Love that game. But he goes for the Brave Bird, and that does way too much. So this is definitely banded. And yeah, I'm kind of scared now, since I kind of need my Drapion for later to set up some spikes or get a few knockoffs off. So I'm going to switch into my Licky, as I'm going to have to try and Brave Bird recall this thing, since this thing is just hitting my team far too hard. It's ridiculous. Because I know there are some YouTubers out there that throw all their guys at one Pokemon at once and just trying to trying to get a better score, which I don't see the point really, but that's just me. Just throwing all the Pokemon at one guy just to keep a 6-0 or a 5-0 or whatever. But no, this is literally the best move I can make right now, since just trying to Life Orb stall it. And now here is where I say that the not switching into the freaking Moltres on the Hitmonlee comes into play, as I wouldn't have enough. I may not have enough Brave Bird recalled, stored him if I had collateral damage from the close combat. Possibly. Either way, the Dodrio goes down, and that's great, since now that's another threat gone. It's a double down now, so, and from his team he has the Torterra, which is a physical attacker, and 3 special attackers, being the Dewgong, the Typhlosion, and this Manectric. So plus my Licky's at very low health, and it's probably the most expendable thing in my team right now, so I'm just going to send that in on this double down, as he does switch into his Manectric, as it's probably Scarfed or Specs, not sure, but probably choice, seeing as most of his guys are already Life Orbed, being the Hitmonlee and the Typhlosion. So I'm just going to protect, just maybe a sliver of hope, thinking that I could possibly take a Thunderbolt from that range, but no dice, as I lose my Licky, which is fine. I was expecting to fodder out anyway. As I'm going to bring in Nimbus, my Altaria. It's a brilliant Pokemon, love this thing. As I'm going to force him out into his Dewgong, as I'm just going to go for the Dragon Pulse, and this is where I say that having the Toxic on is really going to help me, as well as the Stealth Rock and 2 levels of spikes up. It's going to be in range for a 2-hit KO with my Dragon Pulse, which is not even boosted. Well, when I say boosted, I don't have any special attack EVs. This is max HP, max special defense, calm nature, with the 4 in speed, because I like winning speed ties. Or actually, I think I have 8 in speed, I'm not sure. Either way, usually, for most of my walls, I actually usually put like 8 or 16. Usually the more EVs than the standard smoke and spread, because I like winning speed ties, as I said. Either way, that Dewgong goes down after 2 Dragon Pulses, as I've already previously stated, And now he brings in the Typhlosion, which is very strange, which the only reason he could have done that is that he doesn't have HP Grass, he has HP Ice. Now here's what I want to do. Because I'm at almost full health, I know I can take at least one 4 times super effective Ice move from a, as it is HP Ice, which is base 70 power and is unboosted, or unstabbed actually, I should say. And I do live with 40, which is excellent. So I'm going to get off that roost off, get up to above half health, and I'm going to switch out into my Poliwrath so I can sponge that HP Ice, because I do resist it. And the reason why I did all this is because I don't want, oh my god, why is people moving around? The reason why I did all this is because I didn't want him to go for the Will-O-Wisp if I just switched out right into my Poliwrath. So, as I've already said before, this all comes into play and he loses Typhlosion, so I'm looking pretty good now, but I'm not out of the woods yet. I mean, my Poliwrath is a status absorber, as it is the Rest Talk set with Waterfall and Circle Throw, but I do not have the luxury to waste a move and turns for resting and then sleep talking. I really do not have that luxury at this late in the game. He's going to switch into his main entry, get some Stealth Rock and Spikes damage, as I love these entry hazards. Everyone knows I love hazards. Which is also why I hate freaking Espeon. Oh my god. I hate that thing. Xatu, not so much. I quite like Xatu, because we can't really do it. It's not an Espeon. Let's just leave it like that. He's going to lock himself into Thunderbolt, as I'm going to bring in my Nimbus once again, since I want to get to a reasonable chunk of health. As he's going to go for the Thunderbolt, just hoping, praying they will do a lot more, or killing me, but nope, that's not the case. I was going to go for a Roost. He could still possibly keep doing this, play this little game of while I get hacked out, since that's the problem with playing defensive. You play the crit game. I think it's Gambler's Fallacy. I'm not sure. I'm probably just making. No, I know that there's something called Gambler's Fallacy, but I don't know the full extent of that phrase. Which is something for you to look up, and I'll probably look it up after this done narrating, since it's quite interesting. Either way, he's got to switch out into his Torterra. I'm going to keep on roosting. So I just need this thing up to full health, well, or roundabouts. And now, as you've already seen in my last RU battle, this Altaria does have the Parasong, as I do not like losing to the, what was it, last Pokemon situation. But I thought I could take it out with the Flamethrower, but that's not the case. I do get the burn, which is quite nice, but it doesn't really play a factor. Well, it may play a factor in how he makes his moves next turn, as he is on a slight timer. But anyway, he goes for the Synthesis. As I said before, the crit on the Poliwrath with the Circle Throw did not matter, as he does have a recovery move. Which I'm not sure about things like Synthesis and Moonlight, since they're quite unreliable. You never know that something like a Snowball will come in and just take a quarter and just, what was it, ruin that I'm recovering now, since it's not reliable. But whatever, each their own. As I go for the Parasong right now. So now I'm still in a bit of a bind right now, as long as I have 2 Pokemon still alive, I can still win this. But it's whether or not I can get in Drapion safely in or not, since as you see right now, he's trying to predict me to switch out. So here I'm thinking, okay, this Flamethrower is doing quite a bit to him, as another one will possibly kill him. So he's probably thinking I'd switch out on the 3rd turn of the Parasong. So I'm going to switch into Drapion, hope he doesn't go for the EQ, and he does go for the Synthesis, which is excellent. Since now I can freely switch out into my freaking Altaria once again, as it's pretty apparent right now that his only attacking move is the Earthquake, which I am immune to. Yeah, you can say I'm immune to. Like electric is grounds immune to electric. Immune to, because Altaria is part flying type. As this is pretty much good game, as the only thing he can do if he does switch out into the Ministry right now, he's going to take head of a ton from Stealth Rocks and Spikes, and I'll probably just Dragon Pulse or Flamethrower on a switch if he switches out into Torterra, as I do outspeed, and I would have killed him off. But yeah, as I said before, that's a good game. So good game there, PlasmaDragon. Please check him out, he's a really cool guy. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the other side.